Alright, and welcome back. As you can see, I've got all the parts laid out here for the next step. We're working on the undercarriage there. And yeah, this is just something that I like to do. I like to get all the parts ready and done, and I like to lay them out like this to prepare for the assembly, especially now that we shoot video. But it reminds you of like if you had ordered all these parts in the mail and they'd come shipped to you in the special box with the foam with the I stopped short of doing the cutout silhouettes of the pieces. But anyway, we're getting ready to put them all on there, and as you can see, I have done all these parts in the same method of shark skin. The primer plus a mist coat of silver, and then of course the spindles there are the baitfish shiny chrome with the all sprayed at 7:30 in the morning with a high dew point to make them look terrible. And I did the gas tank as well. Exactly the same method. As you can see there, it kind of looks like scales. Also masked and painted at 7:30 in the morning. But we got all the parts ready to be put on there. I have to just one more piece to paint there. I've got to paint that bar there before I start assembling, and then there we go. Oh yeah, I needed to start incorporating a third color there. So as you can see, I have painted the shock absorbers a sand color. So we've got shark and baitfish, and then in honor of the beach we have sand. And I've done some other things in sand, but we'll get to that in a little bit. So let's start assembling all this. I'm hoping it all goes together because I didn't test fit anything, and now I'm really hoping everything fits. Let's see. Okay, so we got all those parts on now, and this is what it's looking like. Everything's going pretty well, especially, yeah, everything fit fine. Oh yeah, that's what I was saying, is that I hadn't test fitted anything. Fortunately, everything fit. So we'll start up here. Let me come in closer. By the way, I am using that camera. Watch this. Let's get a good close-up look at that steering knuckle. It does have the posable front wheels. Let me grab a hold of there. Say, there we go. See that? So I'm all set to put the tires on, but I don't want to put them on yet because I wanted to show what I got together. As you can see, that's a unique color scheme for sure. The springs are the steel color, and of course the control arms are shark color. And so all that's glued in. Drive shaft is just sitting there. Let me turn this around, show the rear part there. There's your sand colored shock absorbers. And yeah, very happy with, oh yeah, there was a little thing there that I had to grind off at the base of the shock absorbers. You can see where I ground it off. Oh, I've got to go in there and touch up with some blue paint. I don't know what it was, but it was stopping the shock absorber from mounting all the way down there, so I had to get in there with a Dremel and get that off of there. But very happy with that. Let me move on to the dashboard. As I was explaining, we had to introduce a third color there for sand, and this is how I implemented that onto the steering wheel. So yeah, this camera doesn't have the best preview screen, so I'm hoping it's showing the colors correctly. The center part of the steering wheel is the light blue, harbor blue, same color as the body. And now the chrome that you see there on that bottom strip is the that's bare metal foil. In situations like that where I'm going to have a very straight line that's all tight in there, I like to use bare metal foil. I don't have any problem with using bare metal foil, so that's what I used. There's a little bit of a challenge getting in there painting those instruments, but it's doing okay. You know, especially if you look at it from back here, it looks outstanding. You just don't want to get in tight. Still not too bad. Now let's move on to the wheels. So I'm getting ready to put the wheels on. I have opted for the slicks because, I mean, who can resist? And it's interesting to see these Oldsmobile wheels in a drag slick. It's a unique look, and I've got them all sanded and ready. And then over here I've set these up to show you the difference between the sizes of the two. Now I have checked, and the larger tire does fit in the wheel well. I would hope it would, because it comes with the kit. But it barely fits in there, but as you can imagine, it's going to be setting up a bit of a rake to the stance. So the back end is going to be up a little bit, which is good, because I am going to be mounting the side exhaust there, which I haven't done yet. And if you remember, the headers to the side pipes, there's no collector. I've got to create one, which means pretty much I've got to have the engine in. Pretty much I have to have everything in. I have to have the engine in and the tires on, just to look at the stance to decide exactly what angle to mount those exhaust side pipes at, because you can't do it first. But it is good that the back end will be up a little bit, so that'll give me a little bit more space to have that side pipe hanging out right about there. Although at this point I'm not sure if it's actually going to make it to the actual edge. So time will tell. I'm hoping that I will. Of course, all I have to do is get the wheels on. That's just with the Sharpie. I painted the back plates for the way they spin to help them turn. You guys know what those are. I painted those with the Sharpie so that as you're looking through the wheel, it'll be black as opposed to tan, the regular part color. And so that's all ready to be put together and then glued on. And so we will have a rolling chassis here. Whether or not the side pipes are going to be on in the next scene is unknown, but I wanted to get this part filmed so that I could move on, and we'll have it on its wheels in the next scene for sure. Other than this, we've got the interior there. All I've really done is put the shifter on. See there, we've got a nice sand color shift knob, and I know that we've got a little bit of chrome peeking out at the base of that shift boot. I'll get it. You know what? Let's put that dash in. Let's look at that. Is that in right? Pretty much. There we go. Yeah, it's starting to look like something. Okay, anyway, moving on. I'll get those wheels on. See you in the next scene. Okay, and here we go. Got the tires and wheels on, and we have what's known as a rolling chassis. Although, you know, as much as the front tires turn, the rear tires are rubbing. Yeah. Sorry about the fingernails. That is actually roofing tar. I've been working on my roof. It is not removable. Anyway, they do turn if they're not rubbed. There we go. See there? So in an emergency, you could figure out a way to roll it across the kitchen floor, but it's really not going to. Anyway, I wanted to put it up on its wheels to show you that somehow, some way, it is sitting basically level. That is glue strands. Okay. So there's really not a rake to it. I'm a little surprised. And we will just work with that how we work with that. But I do like the way it looks, for sure. Now I'm not putting the engine in yet. Not quite on this update because I'm still working on those headers. And here's what I'm doing. So there is what I've come up with on the collector, and it is working pretty well. This is not glued on. The collector is glued on to the header, but it is not, the header's not glued onto the engine yet, because I have a feeling there's all kind of angle problems that are going to arise when I'm gluing that on. I hope to be able to glue the header and the collector onto the engine and then work on the exhaust, which is right there. But as you can see, this is how I did it. I'm working on the second one. Basically just cut off a thick piece of round sprue and sanded the header side flat and sanded the sprue side flat and glued them on there so that they don't move as I'm working it. And then I just used the Dremel, one of the smaller bits, and worked it into an angle, worked it into a collector, so that I have that smaller end there now. And I will try to hold this up to there to show basically what that's going to look like. There we go. See there? So quite a bit better than it was with no collector. And then this will be the there's going to be all kinds of questions on the angles and so on. So I'm going to have to glue the engine in so it stays put, and then hopefully glue the headers on, and then these side pipes, there's going to be, so I'm going to have to maybe work the angle a little bit. So it's going to be one of those things where you put a whole bunch of glue on the end of here so that you can swivel it a little bit and make it work. Also, I have a feeling, because I put this collector on there, that this part of the tube is going to be too long and I'm going to have to take off a little bit. It's probably going to be hanging down too low now, maybe. Anyway, a bunch of unknowns. It's going to be a lot more work, so it's not going to be in this update. Just telling you what's going on there. I will get it figured out. We're going to have side pipes with collectors and headers. So anyway, I know what you're thinking. Let's do a mock-up. Alright. Well, now we're talking. Look at this. This is looking like something. It even looks good without a grill. Looks tough. And those drag slicks back there. Heck yeah. I do like the stance. Okay, so I think the body's sitting a bit low. I'm going to have to check that out. Looks like it's curving over those front tires a little too much. I don't know why. Might have something to do with no engine being in there, but probably not. That's wrong, right guys? Maybe it's because the back end, that's too low, I think. Anyway, here's a good look at what it's gonna look like. This is exciting. This is coming out nice. So anyway, I will continue to work on that engine over there, and we will get the side pipes in there correctly. If you can imagine those side pipes peeking out from under there, it's going to make it look even better. And then I will be doing the body trim in actual bare metal foil, because I'm just not good with that Molotow pen on stuff like that. Like some things I'll do with the Molotow pen, like probably the door handle, and I will try to get in there on that. But long straight runs like this one on the fender, that's going to have to be BMF. It's the only way it's going to work for me. But I continue on, and this is going to be one spiffy car. Scott, I hope you like it. This is the most fun I've ever had on a build. This is, and I'm, and I got surprises in store. They're coming up. Wait till you see this stuff, guys. This build is going to get even better. So hang in there. Stay tuned. Much more coming. This is going to be pretty neat. Thanks for watching, everybody. See ya.